in loving memory of Jonathan McKenzie, gone but never forgotten.
The knight jumps from one square to another in an L shape. Baby, you got it. He crosses two squares in a straight line, and then one square, either left or right. Either left or right. Either left or right. Either left or right. One king, one queen, two bishops, two rooks, two knights, two players, 8 pawns, one board.
I see you and the screen.
Okay. And I see you in the screen, but I used to see us side by side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't see us doing side by side right now. But guess what? Then it ain't gonna happen. Moving on. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the Pond Moves First, episode 4, part 2.
Part 2.
Where Ralph and I, we speak about chess, his YouTube chess club, Castle 832, and the tournaments that he has. And we talk about the show Neighbors. Neighbors was a vehicle that we used to teach the basics of chess through music, movement, and song. And the song is the chess song. And Ralph and I, we talk about that. But where we left off at, it was Matthew and I at the Danbury Library.
Mm-hmm.
And we had invited a politician to come, and he didn't come. So he sent Matthew some information. So we're sharing that information now. And that's where we're going to pick up at.
So I thought that was interesting.
Now, if the state Senator Hancock, what you had questions for him in reference to that reporting?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask him basically what those reports showed. Is bullying rampant throughout the schools? Is it being addressed better? And is their new act or the updated act that they passed last year, is it helping at all? So I was just curious to get some of those statistics, if he knew of any, about the results of this new act.
I would imagine that if, this new act is really up and active, that I guess you could follow, like if a bully is in elementary school and they're bullying it in his report, you can basically follow him through the school system if this behavior continues to happen.
Yeah, for your permanent record that we all have in school.
Yeah, a permanent record that follows us all the way.
Fortunately for us, we were able to schedule our local state representative to help us.
I'm State Representative Lile Gibbons. I represent the 150th District in Greenwich, which is where we are sitting right now. There are 3 state representatives from Greenwich, and I represent virtually everything south of the coast.
Those are the chess pieces behind the representative that Antoinette, I call her Antonetti. Antoinette colored for us at the library. And this is State Representative Lile Gibbons. Do you remember me telling the story when we couldn't get on optimum public access?
Mm-hmm.
I contacted her.
Okay.
I was like, they told me that you can learn public access and editing changes, but when I applied, they were like, "Well, come back next year." And I was like, "Well, why didn't you send out the information a year from now? If you sent it out saying now, then I can apply now." So anyway, I contacted Lile Gibbons, and she is a Republican state representative. That's how that Greenwich area is. And she got us on, as you can see, because these videos, Neighbors, we sent it out all over to public access channels. And so when she was running again, she asked if I would help. And I said I would help. And did 2 hours sitting amongst all those Republicans on the phone campaigning for her. It was horrible. It was horrible.
State legislature for 12 years, 6 terms. Okay. And prior to my being in the state legislature, I served on the Greenwich Board of Education for 9 years, 3 years as its chair. This was from 1992 to the year 2000. I had 4 kids who all attended Greenwich public and private schools from kindergarten through high school. So,
Okay, let me set this up for you. You heard the train in the background?
Yeah.
We're at Matthew's apartment, and Matthew's apartment is right, the train goes right by.
Okay.
And we were hoping that the train wouldn't be, running so much, but there's a few times that you will hear the train going by in the show Neighbors.
daughters, I'm well aware of some of the commotion and confusion that goes on to years. The state has had a couple of anti-bullying laws, and the one that we passed last year in May or June of 2011 was really to address the ubiquitous use of electronic gadgets by all the kids. I think that we read daily in the papers, if not around here, but someplace in the country, that somebody has been attacked, probably falsely. And whether it's falsely or not, they should not be attacked over the internet through Facebook or through any of the other forms of social media. So anyway, the legislature passed Public Act 11-232. And once it becomes a public act, that means that the governor has signed it into law. And it contains significant revisions aimed at strengthening the existing anti-bullying statutes, primarily to take advantage of what is going on.
The trains won't stop.
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
The law currently defines bullying as targeting of a student based on a student's actual or perceived differentiating characteristics, such as race, gender, sexual orientation, or physical appearance. And actions taken through electronic communications or devices that otherwise qualify as bullying and are known collectively as cyberbullying. And I think that the bill passed unanimously. I think everybody's quite aware that we have to do something about cyberbullying. The bill also directs the school to form a plan as to how to deal with this. It also exonerates any school employee who reports school bullying, because that's one of the issues, that if you know that 2 students are engaged in something, you don't want to be the subject of retribution by the outside public or whatever. So everything is done confidentially. The bill also directs the school to come up with a means of, I think, talking to students and forming a plan so that they know what cyberbullying is all about. The act requires each school in the state to carry out a biennial assessment, meaning every 2 years, of its school climate, using various criteria that the State Department of Education has.
Okay, I have to say that we recorded this in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So almost 10 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't imagine the bill has changed. I would imagine it would become stronger. But
Have they done an update on? Have you done an update on that to see
no,
if that's the case? Okay.
No. No. Well, I'd say that because I think there's something now in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they beat up this non-binary little kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the child died. And it's so looking at that, I'm just like, no, it really hasn't until we
Yeah.
accept people's differences. Why can't people be different? You know, we all
Yeah.
use our minds, we'll make it. You know, you don't
Yeah.
just let them do what they do. I mean, anyway, so I'm gonna skip past her a little bit, Ralph,
Okay.
because just to, I mean, she has a lot. The videos is up on neighborstv.com. But
Yeah. So if they want to see the whole thing, yeah.
yeah, if you want to see the whole thing,
Mhm.
the reason why it's there, a long time ago, Matthew and I, when we were building and making neighbors, we have the Gmail account and to put the videos up on.
Mhm.
And I contacted him and I said, he wasn't working because we were in the COVID pandemic. So I said, listen, I'll pay you if you put the videos up on our Gmail account page that we made together. So he calls me, he says, I put it up. And I said, oh yeah, I don't see it on the page that we have. He has a password, codes to it and everything. He made a whole new page, YouTube page.
Mhm.
Instead of making it Chess Song 2010, it's Neighbors TV. So that's why it's over. But I had to work it out with YouTube. I don't know. I'm 66 years old. I'm not tech enough to merge the two
Mhm.
because it is all me. So that's why you have to go to Neighbors TV to look at the video. And that would be episode 4, season 3 of Neighbors. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's see what we got. Neighbors and chess. The night.
All right. The night.
They're the knights. Well, they're kind of nice, but they live kind of in a weird way, and they're not that useful unless you really get the strategy. So that's a kind of complex piece.
Oh, I have to
They
say,
go right here.
that's Joshua talking. He's from season 1. He was our chess coach. It's my girlfriend Ethel, Miriam, and me. And we're his audience.
One in the white, if we had a black and white board, but we have a brown black board, and one was sitting on.
Also, not like checkers where they just go on a certain color board.
Yeah.
White is
Right, is that correct?
Well, yeah, basically you just say they're one move away from the corner.
One move away from the corner, okay.
How easy is
It's
that?
probably one of the hardest pieces for you to use, but once you're good at chess, it's actually a pretty fun thing for most people to use. I'm really not good enough to use it well, but some people I know can use it to get checkmates very easily. It moves in a really weird way, and it's kind of hard for you to get the hang of it for the first couple bits. But yeah, after a while, it grows on you, I guess. I don't really like the piece though.
Next is the knight, okay? The
He
knight.
said he doesn't like the piece.
L shape.
He doesn't.
Actually, let me put him in the middle.
I love nights.
He goes, how I always tell the kids is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I actually have them show.
See how
many
Julie's doing it?
moves
Yeah.
go from this one space. So this way they can fully understand the versatility of the knight.
Josh
And
said
you see
weird
right
way.
there.
She said versatility.
We have, what is this, 6 pieces out? So that means he has 6 moves from this one spot on the board. So now he has 8 all around. Now, what's interesting about the knight is if you move him over, he no longer has 8. He actually loses some strength. And he only has, yeah, he's weak, that's right. Now he only has 6 moves. You move him over, now he only has 4. But he's still sneaky.
Yeah. That's why I always say nights on the rim are grim.
Oh, what you say, Ralph?
That's why there's a rule of thumb. Nights on the rim are grim, or nights on the rim are dim. You don't want your knights on the rim of the board because they lose their strength. They're not as powerful.
Okay, okay.
That's what she was basically explaining. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
job by her.
if you keep them in the middle,
Keep them in the
they're more
center of the board. They
powerful.
have more squares to cover, more
Cover.
powerful. Yes.
Yeah, but if
Mhm.
you put them on the edge, it's like you put them in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, you could. Okay, or they're cornered if the enemy puts them in the corner.
Yeah, they lose
The
their strength.
opponent.
They're not as powerful. They're
And
like
that's
this.
powerful.
Yeah, they're like you put somebody in the corner, you put somebody in timeout. Like, what are you doing over there? Get back in this game. You know?
Okay. The chess song, The Night.
The knight jumps from one square to another in an L shape. Baby, you got it. He crosses two squares in.
I must say, my song described it the best this episode. Because Josh said moved in a weird way. She said, what did Julie use? Another term for it. So, a L shape.
L shape, yeah. Perfect description.
Mhm.
Straight line, and then one square, either left to right, either left to right, either left to right, either left to right. One king, one queen, two bishops, two rooks, two knights, two players, 8 pawns, one board.
One board.
Alex and I sat in her room with the garage band on her Mac, and we put it together. I had it on a cassette
Mhm.
where when I edited to add the music, because I had to record the music, I didn't have all I had to do all this with the tape. So
Mhm.
after I recorded it, I had to splice it because the song is a little longer. So
Yeah.
what I had to cut the tape, I had to get the Scotch tape, tape it, put it back into the cassette, roll it to have the full song.
Yeah.
So when I took it to Alex, when Alex listened, she was like, "Come over and let's get the garage band going, and we can see what we can do." And that's what we did. But the way she reads off those pieces, one night's one poem, you know. So you go.
Yeah, she listed them
Tune in
all.
next- Yep, tune in next time to learn about the Rook. And now we end with the perspective of professionals in law
Hi,
enforcement.
my name is Sergeant Mark Zuccerella. I'm a detective sergeant here for the Special Victims Section of the Greenwich Police Department, which deals with juvenile matters, juvenile law, and crimes against children.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. And the first one I ask you is, the police become involved in bullying at what point or when?
Most of the time, and we get involved with bullying when the school
Okay, it's just me, me, Ralph, in that whole big police station at about 7 o'clock in the morning. The sister's a little nervous.
specific with regard to bullying in the state of Connecticut. It deals with acts that happen at school or at events that are school related. For example, like the bus stop, after school activities,
The camera won't stop shaking.
as of this year, they changed.
Your hands were shaking, huh?
Statute that even if something happened off of school, if it affects the school environment, they will be considered bullying under the state statute. And generally, we get the phone call from the school or from the parents who have either contacted the school or want some extra help. Sometimes we get a call directly from the parents, and then we ask them, did you contact your principal or vice principal, and we direct them that way first, because we want to handle it within the school first, as with the statute, how the statute applies.
Okay, thank you. My next question, if not at school when being bullied, when does the police become involved and how?
As I mentioned, the bullying statute in Connecticut deals with bullying at schools, and if it affects the school environment. If an incident happens where someone intends to harass, ridicule, or assault someone, and it's a repeated act, if it happens in the school, it's bullying. If it happens outside the school, it's going to be one of many crimes. So really what we have to look at is if it's happening when it's happening outside the school is where. If it's happening at the bus stop, then under state statute, it's bullying. If it's happening at an after-school sporting event, it's bullying. If it's happening at home on Facebook or on any of the various chat rooms and it's affecting the school environment, it's bullying. If it's not any of those and it's just two kids walking up and down the Greenwich Avenue and it's a one-time incident where let's say somebody was calling someone a name or somebody spit on somebody, that is not bullying, that is a crime. It can be one of many crimes. It can be breach of peace, it could be disorderly conduct, it could be threatening. If it happened more than once, it could be harassing. But the main key we have to look at is when it happened and what is it affecting. And again, bullying is, to be considered bullying, it has to happen more than once. A one-time lone incident under state statute is not bullying, but that doesn't mean you don't get involved.
Thank you. Okay, I wanna switch to get you from this angle, as I will ask the last question. Mentioned police can only come involved in the case when bullying becomes a crime. You just said what that was.
I could talk.
Okay, but okay, would you please? Okay.
With regard to when bullying crosses the line of being a crime or being something that, I don't like to say.
I'm not laughing at what he's saying. I'm just saying, why can't I keep this camera straight? I know my daughter says that she can always tell when I'm holding the camera, but this.
Well, because you was in a police station and you was feeling like you don't want to do any sudden moves or something like that.
No sudden moves. I mean, Officer Zuccerella, Sergeant Zuccerella, he was great, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kids being kids, because it's not, bullying should not be tolerated. An example would be a few years back, we had an incident at one of our schools where a group of kids were continually harassing, assaulting, and ridiculing a child. The incident came to head when the parent came here and says that he can't take it anymore. His kid wasn't want to go to school. He's going to have to pull him out of the district. The school has tried everything it is that they can do, but for whatever reason, this group wasn't getting it. We investigated that and we found that there was enough probable cause to arrest 4 of these individuals for assault third. Now, it was bullying, but it crossed the line to become a crime. That line is not a set hard packed line. It's blurred because we don't want to be in the habit of the business of arresting kids for when they're learning how to deal with people, they're learning how to interact with people. When they cross, there is a certain line. For example, you injure someone, that will be criminal and you will be investigated for that. But when it's just the taunting and the teasing, we try and handle that differently. We try and handle that with conflict resolution. We try and handle that with working with the schools, and the schools mostly will do that. So again, there isn't no real set thing, what makes it a crime, what doesn't make it a crime. Really, it's depending on the case. And again, bullying is not something you can be arrested for. It's something that happens that you get in trouble for. And to be arrested has to be one of the many crimes. Until a legislator makes that's until they make it a crime, then we'll have to deal with that. But we have arrested a few kids for what would be called bullying in the past. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add from the program? Anything that you think would stand out that we could use?
So if your child is bullied, here's the thing: when our children, for all of their 18 years of their life, are at school 8 hours, 7 hours a day, they have to have somebody at school, an adult, that they can go to and talk to. So for your child, you should ask your child, do you have someone you can go to and talk to for in case something like this happens? If you're being bullied, who can you talk to? Is it your teacher? Is it your guidance counselor? Is it the principal?
That's a good point. I did do that with my daughter. To this day, we are Facebook friends. And I'm not the only mother who's using it. Her name is Kathy Foster. And she was you wouldn't say security, but I guess she was, but she was always like in the big cafeteria. But if anything happened with a kid, Kathy was there. So my daughter knows, do you have somebody you can go to? She said, oh yeah, I'll go to Kathy and Gwen, So he's right. You do need to have, your child does need to have an adult at school that they can go and talk to in a situation like this or others. Do you have any
Wow.
kids, Ralph?
Do I have kids? No.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, okay. But your nieces and nephews, you can let them know.
Yeah, nieces and yeah,
Yeah.
nieces and nephews.
Yeah, as long as you have an adult you can go to. I had one, my English teacher, Mrs.
Okay.
Williams. So anything really got too bad, I could go find her, but that's a good point he's making.
Need to tell an adult if it's happening outside, out of school, they're being picked on or harassed, they should be able to tell you. They need to be made aware of that. That telling is not tattling when it comes to that. That's how they have to protect themselves. Second, they should travel in groups. The bullies generally tend to be one. And the more people they have around them, the less it is they can be singled out. And another thing we tell them with regards to cyberbullying, which is bullying on the internet.
But you know, he made a good point. Bullies do tend to be one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a gang, it's just one bully.
Yeah, and then you got a follower or followers.
Followers, yeah. But that's the way he said that. There's only one, one bully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do not get sucked into the name calling. Do not become the bully. If someone's picking on you in a chat room or on Facebook, defriend them. Have your parents report them to Facebook or Yahoo or AOL, and they'll have them kicked off of that particular chat room. And lastly, if you find that your friends aren't your friends and they are bullies, join another group. Take up an after-school activity. There's many people in their child's life that they need to be aware of that they're going to meet and it's going to be their friends. Other than that, confidence is the best way to help your child. So the more you talk to them about it, the more they know how to handle situations.
And Ralph, what builds confidence?
Chess?
Yes. Yes.
I was gonna say winning.
Well, that too.
It builds my confidence.
Better is they'll be the skills of the platform to get older. They can use.
And now let's castle with Ralph.
Hey, what's up? LDF07 here with a quick word on pawn chains. A pawn chain is a group of pawns that protect each other on a diagonal. The only unprotected pawn in the chain is the pawn at the back of the chain, which is commonly referred to as the base pawn. Your opponent will be trying to exploit your base pawn, so make sure it's protected. As you can see here on your screen, the base pawn is protected by the queen on e2 and by the bishop on c1. Now, a lonely pawn by itself may seem weak and insignificant, but pawn chains are strong since each of the pawns protect each other. Also, a good pawn chain helps to defend the central squares, and as a result, gain control of the board. So it's something like a united we stand, divided we fall mentality when it comes to utilizing pawns, similar to life. For instance, in schools, individuals may walk or hang out in groups so they won't fall victim to heartless bullies, because there is strength in numbers. In the wild, ants can come together and quickly overwhelm a much larger intruder. Also, wildebeests travel in herds to confuse and overwhelm the predators when crossing into their territory. So something that may appear to be weak can consolidate and just like that become a formidable opponent, much like a pawn in chess. So that's going to do it for this quick segment on pawn chains. I'm LDF07 saying stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.
Coming up next time on Neighbors, we learn about the rook.
The rook.
Yeah. The rook, and explore what they do in real life as support groups, organizations that provide a solid foundation. Examples of the solid foundations are school resources. Okay, sorry. our kicked out time came up. I didn't get the chance to read it, but we'll see it next season. I mean, next episode.
Oh, is it time already? No.
No, we have 10 minutes, and
Okay.
when we come up for our 10 minutes, what they do is they put this big block in front of me.
Oh, that's what happens. Okay.
Yes. So, telling me to upgrade everything.
Yeah. You're like, okay, it's time to wrap it up. Speed it up
Oh,
now.
I tell you, get it up. Okay. Okay, so we are on. Oh no, I'm not gonna stop recording. Something was recording. I don't know what it was, but now we're back. We'll see each other. I won't know what it is. You may be seen, and my voice may be heard, or I don't know. Or next month we'll be recording this again.
Oh no. Well, you know what? Thank God for editing. That's what editing is for.
Yeah. I know. I was hoping to get two episodes out of it. But if there's
Yeah.
something wrong with this episode, I know ain't nothing wrong with the other episode because I just looked at that and cleared that.
Yeah.
So we just do this again. But this is good. A lot of good points. So you see how the chess and bullying and how it.
They connect. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got a lot of good things. A lot of good. You're gonna get a lot of good shorts that are winners, and we don't mind that you sharing it with neighbors in the episode. I can't
Well,
take
yeah, it's a pleasure to share it with you guys, and it's definitely some content I can put on my page as well,
Okay.
about the Sicilian defense and the pawn chain, and the pawn chain is definitely a good
Nice.
connection
Yes.
or metaphor for the strength in numbers,
Yeah.
to combat bullying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know, not they talk about in The Secret of Manifestation that you want something you want and you got to see it in your eyes. What we're doing now is what I wanted to do back then. To take
Okay.
it like the pawns, a chain of pawns.
Mhm.
As you move them as a defense
Yeah.
or offense. But
Mhm.
I wanted that back then, but I never gave up. And that's why I wanted this podcast, because I was like, I know there's that correlation. I know.
Yeah. There's
I
definitely a correlation. Yeah.
I gotta find a chess person that helps me do that. So that episode when we were talking about, because we got 2 more seasons to do, when we were talking
Mhm.
about the pawns,
Mhm.
focusing basically on the pawn, that would be a good time in the podcast for me to put in that pawn chain. It just makes it so much clearer. And like you said, the power in numbers.
I'll
So
start working on that pawn chain.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was that. I mean, great episode. Oh, Ralph, we got cut off and I didn't end it, but we can end it like this now.
Okay.
So you're gonna have 2 different backgrounds. Is that a different background than what you had before?
No, well, you know what happened? The sun started going down and
Yeah,
the
me
glare.
too.
So that's why I had to turn my light off and I pulled the shades down. So that's why it looks a little different.
Okay, the only
I'm
reason why I
sorry.
said that because we're gonna do our ending, but I
Okay.
would cut it and put it on the first part and the second part.
Okay.
Well, Ralph, I'm glad we're back.
Yes.
And we just real good episode. We just learned a lot of strategic moves and different things like that. And I hope our listeners and viewers did as well, from listening to it, learn
They learned about the pawn chain, and we actually threw in a tactic called the fork, where you attack 2 different pieces at the same time.
yes.
Fork. Yeah.
That's the one. I would. You talk about. You were saying you'd like to do the video on the pawn chain, but I was thinking more of the fork.
Oh, the fork. Okay.
Even
All right.
though doesn't Julie talk about that when she uses the knights?
The knight.
In the
Yeah, they
beginning?
usually fork. You can fork
Is
with the
that
knight.
forking? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But she couldn't use that. She couldn't say fork because these are kids, and that was the
Yeah.
basis of chess. But when you progress,
Yeah.
as you
Well,
know,
they probably associate fork with a spaghetti or spaghettios or something like that.
not like not like choices or decisions.
Eating something,
Fork. fork it up in your
Yeah.
mouth.
You got to take baby steps with the kids,
Yeah.
little by little. Yeah.
But I'm glad we're in the podcast now. We're in the adult neighborhood.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and that's the progression that I want.
Mhm.
Now we got a fork. Before it was
Yeah.
just like, So I
Mhm.
thank you so much for that, Ralph.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you still having your Saturday chess?
Your chess meetup. We meet up for chess. Usually I go out to Ossining, but we change it around. I meet up with my chess group in the Bronx or Yonkers or Ossining because that's where a lot of them live. Also on Fridays and Saturdays I have a speed chess tournament that I do every night at 8:30 p.m. So that's a lot of fun as well.
Speed chess,
Online.
that's online. Yeah. That's the one
Mhm.
that you mentioned before. But, it's been 2 months, but that's the last
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
you did mention
Mhm.
that and how to
Yes.
reach you and
Yes.
sign up
On,
for it. So it's
yeah,
still ongoing.
yeah, it's still going. We do it every week. On Fridays is 15-minute games, and on Saturday nights is 5-minute speed, real fast speed chess tournament.
And how do they get involved? What do they have to do to contact you?
You can go on chess.com and hit me up at eladef07. Send me a message, or you can email me at eledef14 at yahoo.com and say, hey, I'm interested in joining your Let's Castle club, and I'll
Okay.
shoot you a message.
Oh, I guess I was about to say, could they leave a message on one of the videos on Castle?
Oh, and Let's Castle 832.
Let's Castle 832. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning. Thank you, Ralph, for co-hosting with me.
Thank you for
And
having me.
you're welcome. And thank you guys for tuning in to the Pawn Moves First podcast. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye, Ralph.
Bye, Vicky.